You should have just finished page 13. And here's the answer key for page 13. You can take a look at that, pause the video if you need to see it better. And the next thing that we're moving on to today is taking a look at different products and finding elements in those products. So today I brought in pastry crisps, blueberry flavored, and I'm looking at the ingredients list. I can use my cursor here. Here it is. If I take a look, the first item on the ingredients list is enriched flour, and in enriched flour we have wheat flour, niacin, iron, thiamine, mononitrate, vitamin B1, riboflavin, vitamin B2, folic acid. So those are all ingredients that are in enriched flour. So what I did was I went online and I took a look at enriched flour, and it had the same ingredients that were listed on the box. Here we go. And then I zoomed, I'm trying to zoom in here. If I zoom in on these parts, you can see folic acid in the top left. The chemical formula for that is C19H1 or H19 N7O6. So I found carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, and oxygen, all in folic acid. And then now I'm just looking at the other substances that are in enriched flour. Looks like we have a carbon again, hydrogen, nitrogen, and oxygen. Down here, same elements are in this as well. But if I move over to thiamine is one more that we haven't seen yet, is sulfur. So we can add those 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 elements to our list for the product pastry crisps, blueberry. Oh, here we go. So if we take, how do I zoom back out? There we go. And here's the page that we're going to work on. So as you see here on the right, here are the elements and the products, and you're going to be listing the product name. So here's where I would put pastry crisps blueberry, and then I'd start writing the elements. And for the elements list, you don't have to write out each element name. You can just write the abbreviation. So for carbon, it would be a C. For nitrogen, it would be an N. For hydrogen, it would be an H. For oxygen, it would be an O. Sulfur would be an S. So I'd start writing the elements in that, and then I would move on to the next ingredient in the Millville Pastry Crisp product. Now down here, I also have a picture because you are going to need to take a Post-it note. Then you'll write the element abbreviation and what number it is in the periodic table. So hydrogen is a number 1. So right here, if I go here, whoops, still learning this, so excuse me, I'm making a lot of mistakes, I know, but we'll get through this. So hydrogen is an H, and it's also number 1 on the periodic table. Carbon is a letter C, and it's number 6 on the periodic table. If you're unsure what I'm talking about, you can take a look at the periodic table app on your iPad. Nitrogen is number 7 on the periodic table. Oxygen is number 8 on the periodic table. And it looks like we just added sulfur too. So if I go to my next page, I can start writing in. And so I'm using my stylus. It might be a little bit harder if you don't have a stylus to write with, but I'm choosing the smallest pen to write with, and I think I'm going to pick the color blue. So for the product name, it would be Pastry Crisps. Pastry. You'll be doing this on Shobi. Pastry Crisps. And the elements that we've seen so far are hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, and sulfur. And the fifth one is oxygen. And then I'll just keep adding to the list as we go. As you fill out those Post-it notes, I'm going to have you put the sticky on the periodic table of elements as we go. If somebody has already put a sticky note on that element on the periodic table, do not add another sticky note over that person who put the sticky note there. And then tomorrow in class, we're going to have a little competition to see which section, period 3, 6, or 7, found the most elements in the products that you brought in. So that's what you should be working on now that you finish page 13. And then when you're done, you can answer the questions at the bottom of this page. How many different elements did you find in all the products you investigated? Question 2 is, what is the most common element in the products you investigated? How many metals did you find in the products you investigated? List them. So we'll be going through and taking a look at all of those. So I've added hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, sulfur, and oxygen to my list, but I'm not finished yet. There is also iron that I needed to add. Iron is Fe. And I'll just keep going through the list of ingredients. So the next ingredient on the list after enriched flour is glycerin. So then I will look up all the ingredients in glycerin, like glucose syrup, sugar, blueberry puree, concentrate, dextrose. And so I'll continue looking up those ingredients and figure out if there's more elements in those. Good luck.